How's everybody doing? I'm your host, Sean Joyce, and this is Swords for the Men, your show on the Buffalo Sabres, recapping the past week results, present results, and future results. And my good friend, my co-host here.
The man, the one, the only, the best around. You got Josh here talking some sports with you. We're going to break down the Sabres, the past 3 games with you.
Yeah, last week, 2 of the last 3, can't complain.
Yeah.
Everything looks to be trending upward. Except for the injuries.
Yeah, of course.
But we will get healthy, and we will talk about how the depth has stepped up and played well over the last couple of games, especially on the back end. And getting right into that, we're going to start with the Coyotes game from last Thursday. Talking about the back end, one of my favorite defensemen, Justin Falk, played his first game of the year and played very well the other night. And I'm just happy to see some confidence because I'm sick of Matt Tennyson already.
Yeah.
McCabe's not doing well.
Not impressed.
I need consistency. Okay, Justin Falk ain't gonna score 20 points, more than 20 points, but you have a defenseman, a defensive defenseman, and that's what we need. I think because everyone's scoring a ton of goals on us right now. But anyway, getting to the Coyotes game, Sabres travel to Phoenix to face the last place
people in the basement.
Phoenix Coyotes.
I don't know if they're ever gonna know what it's like to come back upstairs, but
God, 10-year rebuild. I gotta stop saying Phoenix. They're Arizona now.
Yeah.
They're trying to globalize isn't the word, but they're trying to market out to the whole state. But anyway, Sabres started off well in that game. Not just in Sabres in general. Robin Lehner started out well. Robin Lehner made huge saves, kept Sabres in the game for the whole game, but definitely in the first period. But Coyotes got on the board first. Oliver Ekman-Larsson scored a beauty for Max Domi. Deked Lehner out of his skates. Top shelf for Mama Heights cookies. Sabres down 1-0.
They did. They scored the first goal, but it just depends on how they respond, and the Sabres came back and responded well.
Damn right. Got a name for Josh. Clayton Keller, Rookie of the Year candidate right now. 15 points, 13 games. How does
making early predictions?
How do you think that the Coyotes finally have an all-star brewing? Hopefully.
I think that they got somebody that definitely deserves a shot to be a runner-up for Rookie of the Year, but it is early on right now. We're not that far.
Right, it is very early. Maybe Nylander can sneak in. It'd be nice for somebody to step up. But the Sabres got on the board with 0.9 seconds left in the first period. Kyle Poso, a beautiful pass from Benoit Pouliot, top shelf. Ryan O'Reilly, they play tic-tac-toe. Hey, that just proves play to the end, right?
Yeah, pretty much. You just gotta push until you gotta just keep pushing and pushing, and results will finally show. And it finally showed that they know how to score on that side. They got their top players in there. They got Oposo scoring the goal. They got Ryan O'Reilly on the assist. Pouliot's one of the new names this year, but he's becoming a pretty good household name.
We've been waiting all year for someone to get on fire.
Yeah.
Just consistent fire. Vander Kane's been kind of on fire. Benoit Pouliot the last 3 games is on fire right now. And I think this needs to keep up because that line 2, Oposo and O'Reilly, if he can get them going.
I think it's awesome. I think when you find someone that gets into the mix just as good as the rest of the players, and not just as good, even better, So we'll see how far he can keep going, and hopefully he stays on the roster and stays within this organization to keep improving more and more.
Showing signs of the Benoit Pouliot of yesteryear. Coming into the second period, the man himself, Benoit Pouliot, scores his 3rd goal of the year. Yes, and beautiful one from O'Reilly and Oposo. Line 2 showed up. That was the first game.
I was just gonna say, you want to know what? I didn't even realize, and that's just another thing that shows that they're playing well together. Their chemistry is really good. Yeah,
just keep building it.
When you try, you get good results sometimes. And that's the second time in a row that those guys were involved on the same scoring play. So
3rd goal, Seth Griffith, 3-on-1 pass from Sam Reinhart, Burns anti-run to top shelf. Pretty.
Top shelf for
My mind's good.
you know.
Going on to third period, Sabres are up 3-2-1. And Rob Ray got a nice jab on Max Domi. And he said, don't ever trust a Domi. Of course. I like that. That made me laugh.
Rob Ray has his clever sayings that we hear sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Totally. On the fourth goal to give the Sabres a 4-1 lead, Jack Eichel, Vander Kane were playing at the top of the point, and the Coyotes defenseman fell, slipped, lost control. Vander Kane, Jack Eichel going a 2-on-none tic-tac-toe.
When I saw that happen, it just you just got one big thing that I could get out of that is capitalize on mistakes. So that's what they did. They capitalized on that mistake and they produced just like they should.
That was a good point by you because the Coyotes made a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And they capitalized on all the mistakes they made the other night.
And
hey, if someone gives us something, we got to take it.
Take it. I don't care if you're the first place team or the last place team. You got to get a win, and a win is a win because in the end, where does it go? Right into the first column, not the second column.
True. Benoit Pouliot scores another one. His third goal, a hat trick,
Another one.
Fifth goal of the game, put the Sabres up 5-1. Coyotes didn't quit. That showed, this young team, man, not done, not giving in. Zach Rinaldo scored, Nick Cousins scored, and then with a minute left, Christian Dvorak scored to put the Coyotes down 1, and they pushed all the way till the end.
Yeah.
10 seconds left. Puck went through Robert Lander's leg, through the crease, in front of the crease, got knocked away. Probably 2 feet away from tying it up.
That was for sure a crucial moment. They could have went into overtime. Could have went into a shootout. I'm glad that the game ended the way it did because we tend to suffer in those kind of circumstances. But
Did you think they almost blew it?
I think
could have blew it.
I think that they almost could have blew it.
That's not very reassuring, but we'll see. Sabres held on to win 5-4. Sabres outshot the Coyotes 31-27. And it was nice to get a win, especially after the rough weekend.
It's definitely refreshing, closer and closer they could at least get to 500. They just got to slowly try and climb over that.
One at a time.
That's really early. Take it one at a time. So climbing up that rope.
Speaking of one at a time, we're going to take a break here. We're back here on the show. Game 2 of our recap. Saturday night, Buffalo Sabres 2-game Western road trip headed out to Dallas to play the Stars. Old buddy Ken Hitchcock. Hey, Ken Hitchcock. Of course I do. Right there. But I thought we'd fare a lot better against a good team than we did. Fortunately, the Sabres gave up 4 goals in the first period, and after the third goal, it led to Robin Lehner getting pulled for Chad Johnson.
Yeah, not so good. Didn't look so good.
What do you think happened in the first period in general? Specifically the first 3 goals. That happened like that.
I think the Sabres thought that they were still on the plane or something. They didn't show. They didn't show up to play because they were just on cruise control, man.
But when you say they were there in the defensive zone, they were playing deep. But I don't want to say they were all taking weird bounces, but they were just getting by. It seemed like.
Let me tell you what. I think that the Stars just. It was pure chemistry. There's nothing.
They got it.
When a team clicks, and especially with the playmakers that they have on that team, there's no stopping them when you could, it's just not possible.
They were rolling.
They were rolling, man. And when things get rolling and you're going and going, there's no stopping them.
Remy Ellie from Antoine Roussel, 1-0 Stars. Radek Faska from John Klingberg, 2-0 Stars. All these goals are 3 minutes apart, which is funny. Steven Johns, their 4th line, scored to take a 3-0 lead.
Yeah.
And then Tyler Seguin with the number 3 power play in the NHL. One of the best players in the league. 4-0 at the end of the first. felt deflated at that point. The game's over.
Yeah.
I was on my way home from my game on the bus, and I saw that 4-0 that first night. I went, wow, the other night was great.
Yeah, this one's not so great. A smile though.
Robin Lehner got pulled. I don't think it was all Robin's fault though.
No, and I think that it was just a pure bad team play. I don't think you could solely
Chemistry wasn't.
I don't think you could solely put it on one player. I think that it's just they had nothing more than I could say an off day. I don't know. I don't know what else to express for it.
The first period there, that first half,
Because
it wasn't. They were flowing. They were just clicking.
Yeah.
I don't think we were playing bad. It was bouncing their way. They were moving.
honestly, we outshot them 28-22
Yeah.
through the game. So
Well, that was my next point I wanted to bring up. For the next, if we would have played the second and the third like we played, not like we played the first, it was only a 2-1 game then. Excuse me, it was only a 1-1 game then. So I think they played better in the
a
second
whole
and
lot
third.
changed up, but unfortunately, it just sucks when all your goals happen in the first period already.
And you're down 4-0. Kerry Lettinen played really well. He made a lot of big saves. And I'm not just saying that. We really had opportunities, and they really were not getting by him. And that's credit to him. Ryan O'Reilly made a nice play to score our only goal of the night. Antoine Roussel scored the last one from Klimberg and Sagan right before the end of the second. And there was no goals in the third. So unfortunately, ugly 5-1 loss.
Nothing describes that more than just pure ugliness.
Here's the biggest stat I want to take away from the night. 0 for 4 in the power play.
Yeah, that's something that's got to improve.
And then something cool from the game. I can give you something cool from the game. Our old beautiful captain Stu Barnes is assistant coach on the Stars.
And the Stars, well.
And he looks good. He's aging well.
I went a few years ago, back when I lived down in Dallas, and I went to the Sabres and Stars game, and they lost 4-3. But it was a good game. That was back when Mr. Lindy was coaching the Stars.
That had to be pretty cool to see.
I got to see him up close. It was pretty cool.
That's not a bad team in Dallas. They had 2 mediocre goaltenders the last 2 years.
Yeah.
They got Ben Bishop. They were 6-5 the other day. They're 7-5 last I looked. Well, they probably played since Saturday. They'll be back. Dallas will be back in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
But how would we bounce back from that loss? Well, Tuesday night wasn't more of a yes. It was more of a Ovi's come to town. And every time Ovi comes to town, there is a show. He puts on a show, and it seems like every time he comes to town, he does score at least 1 goal.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
I'd say so. Matter of fact, it was pretty typical. Nothing was gave me more of that feeling of how I thought that game was gonna go down rather than Alexander Ovechkin scoring, because I thought that there was 6 more to come from him.
Excuse me, it's late.
Nice.
But you know what? On top of that point, defense actually did play pretty well. Sabres won 3-1. They held the Washington Capitals to only 1 goal. Now, here's the biggest thing I took away from before the game and after the game. Coyotes. Wow, we're tired.
Sorry.
We are late.
It's okay,
Excuse
folks,
me.
we're running a little late.
The Capitals were ending their third of a 3-day road trip. Third game in 4 days. So we caught them on the end of their...
Yeah, they were
schedule.
gassed out.
But, like we said earlier, you get your opportunity, you pounce on it. I don't care what it is. And we did it. We shut down one of the best teams in the league.
I'll say we got our opportunity. We went for it. Like I said a little bit earlier on, got to capitalize on mistakes that happen, and that's just one big thing that they also did again. You know, who cares if they caught the Capitals at the end of the trip? A win's a win's a win's a win.
Yes, it is. Before the game on Tuesday, Jack Eichel spoke out to the media about his frustration about being in last place in the conference, about nothing going right. He said, it sucks, we're all down, we're trying to work our way through it. But he said he was all smiles after the game, which is nice to see.
No more snapping sticks.
we're all frustrated. We in this room are frustrated.
Plus,
Everyone's
believe me,
frustrated.
I feel that tension every time that I see the Sabres have a bad loss, because nothing makes me more disgruntled than that happening.
Last night, Tuesday night, the Sabres played hosted the Capitals. No scoring in the first, 0-0 in the second period. Matt Duchene scored his 8th of the year from Jack Eichel.
Beautiful. I'll say that. I just think that when you hear just those names scoring, especially on your lineup, I think that it's definitely just good music to my ears. I love the fact that we have top line players, our top paid players coming into effect and actually doing what they're supposed to do. And you know what? Jack got the assist on that, but he's a team player. And that was a straight, that, like, if we rolled that highlight reel right now, that Jack Eichel, he sets up plays. He could either score or he could set up a play. And who knows
He
what
always
that
chooses to set it up more of the time.
Who knows what that player's thinking in his head?
So everyone's kind of beating him up for goals, but
That's-
he's a center.
Yeah,
He makes
sure.
the play.
For
He
sure.
makes every play. Power play.
I tried not to bring that up, but it's definitely one thing I was.
This has been daunting. People are talking about this. We're gonna talk about it. We'll give our opinion on it. You know what? Yeah, shoot a little more.
Mm-hmm.
But Jack is the ignition to the whole play. When two players follow Jack around, which usually happens, when
Yep.
Jack's cutting around behind the net, up the boards,
something's
two guys
being
are
set up.
following him. When two guys are following him, that sets up four other guys.
Yep.
Jack knows that. It's not stupid.
He's got all eyes around on the ice.
It's what Crosby does.
He's got to set things up, and when he's trying to set things up, maybe he could go in for it. I understand people want goals, but that doesn't always matter, because when you have another player open and the guy that has the puck before him has it, if you got a guy open, then I'm going to tell you guys right now, pass to the guy that's wide open, because your chances of scoring are way more higher.
Alex Ovechkin does what Alex Ovechkin does. He scores goals in miraculous fashion.
He does do it. I've been watching it for a while.
Ovi cuts across the ice, taking a pass from Brooks Orpeg. As he's coming across the ice, Robin Lehner goes the other way. Top shelf Ovi to tie the game at 1. I stepped out of work at that moment to see that goal. Just in amazement. Beautiful goal. Typical Ovi.
Ovi hid the cookies this time.
He did go down. Benoit Pouliot, 3:22 into the third, unassisted, 5th goal of the year. Somebody is on fire.
Somebody is. If we were playing NHL hits, he'd be doing this.
He's on fire.
On fire.
Fire right next to him. I wish NHL still had the fire icons.
Yeah.
And the stick for sniper and the bullseye for.
It'd be awesome.
It should still have something. Whatever.
Take you back to a little bit of your childhood.
Vander Kane hits the open net with 20 seconds left.
Power.
3-1 win. And you know what?
Jason Poundville on the assist.
Yes, you know what? We just beat one of the best teams in the league, 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't complain. We beat the Capitals. Benoit Pouliot's on fire. Momentum is gaining. We just won 2 of the last 3, and we're about to face 2 of the most, I'm not going to say the worst teams in the league or the conference, but 2 of the most struggling teams in the conference. 2 good teams. We know how good the Canadians and the Panthers are.
Mm-hmm.
They're struggling right now. They're right with us. If we can hit them when they're down, please do.
Please, I would too. Let me say something real quick.
Sure.
I'm not sure if you said it or not, but I hate to complain about a win, especially a win that's separated by a 2-goal margin.
Mm-hmm.
But they went 0-4 on the power play.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that we discussed. I just wanted to bring this back up because this is something that we discussed, before we went on break. And that was another time that they didn't do good on the power play, like you even pointed out. And I think that's something that maybe they should dedicate a few whole practices to getting better on the power play, because I can't stress that enough. When you go 0-4 on 4 opportunities to score short with one less man on the other side, you should take care of those opportunities.
Yeah, I agree.
Just want to lay that down real quick. I'm sorry if I talked for too long.
No. We're going to hit the biggest thing that happened this week in the NHL. And that is, of course, finally Matt Duchene gets traded somewhere. Mm-hmm. Matt Duchene, there's a lot here, so I'm going to read it. Of course, and this affects us, was traded to Ottawa. He's a Senator.
Oh, man.
A three-way trade between the Sens, the Predators, and the Avalanche. The Predators received Kyle Turris from Ottawa. The Sens received Matt Duchene from Colorado. And the Avs receive everything to help them with their rebuild.
Yeah.
Forward Shane Bowers, Andrew McHammond, the Hamburglar, finally has an opportunity to play again in the league. First round pick and a third from Ottawa. Samuel Girard, Vladislav Kamensev, and a second round from Nashville. Colorado made out like bandits.
I'm going to say what? Quite confusing, but this is the way that these type of trades work.
Three-way trades.
Only the NHL. Only the NHL.
Nashville's got to be happy they got Kyle Turris.
Yeah.
So they're solid there. Ottawa just got their number one center.
Yeah,
not good for us.
No, not good. Not good on our end, because we got to play him more than once a season. But we'll just have to face the fact that he's on the team now. I think that all three teams got exactly what they needed. Nashville doesn't really need much.
They just added.
So they just added. Ottawa needed a filler. Someone like Matt Duchene. He's a solid player, you know. Good, well-known name around the league. And Colorado,
just got 7 assets. First, second, third, 4 players. Mm-hmm. Good job, Colorado. Because the situation was ugly. Yeah. Matt Duchene has been waiting to be traded for 2 years. It up. And they haven't traded him. And he's like, trade me. So I'm glad it finally got over with because this has been waiting long enough. Mm-hmm. You got any last thoughts on the trade?
I think the only thing that I'm pretty much going to say is, all in all, I think all three teams benefited somehow, some way. They all got either a gap filler or a team or a player added to the roster. So
if Colorado can get something out of a player or two, and hopefully all 3 of their picks, somebody comes out of there, that'll be good for them because this is going to be a long rebuild in Colorado.
Yeah, I'd say, one of my other last things is Colorado for sure got a good deal out of that whole blockbuster trade because not only do they get picks, they got players. Mm-hmm. And when you get picks and players, you get the best of both worlds. You get production and chances of more production.
We're going to take a break here and come up with the last segment previewing next week after this. Back here on the show, looking forward to next week. A little bit of salvation. We're facing the two of the most struggling teams in the league, and they happen to both be in our conference, of course, and they're good old friends of ours. Mm-hmm. We have Florida Panthers coming to town on Friday night, and then Saturday at back-to-back we head to Montreal. Ooh, back-to-back, that sucks, man.
Yeah. You know, Jake says back-to-back.
Hey, good. He didn't mean hockey, and he didn't mean that as a good thing, because that's the last thing we need.
Let's get back to the show. It's just... I think that they definitely have a chance to go 2-0.
Okay.
On that back-to-back trip. Mm-hmm. Especially if they win the first game against a very...
downtrodden.
Yeah. Easy beat-up team.
Florida's hurting right now. Yeah. Couldn't tell you why they're doing so bad.
There's a big difference between them this year so far and last year. Mm-hmm. But the Sabres can't just come into this game sleeping. You know, this doesn't mean let's just put our foot on the brakes and stop playing like we should. But they could definitely win.
Better win Friday night. Because I don't think we're going to win Saturday.
Yeah?
We're going to be too tired. Well, you know, most of the players say night 2 they feel better. Yeah. I can't process that logic. But we're going to Montreal, their house, Saturday night. Hockey Night in Canada. I'm very excited. Yeah. But Carey Price ain't playing around. So
no. One of the top goalies in the league.
I just hope we get one of the 2. That's what I'm going to look at.
I'll be good with the solid 1-1. Please, please, please no 0-2.
No, we can't.
We can't let that happen. We got to catch up as fast as possible. And whether we go 2-0 or 1-1, those 1-1's the least you can go. 2-0 is the best you can go.
If we got 2 wins, we'd be 7-8-2. 1 game under 500.
I'm alright with that because that means we're getting better. We're improving.
I feel after the last 3 games, even with all the injuries going on right now, once we get healthy and if we can keep pulling up, and I think 2 of the last 3 wins are huge. Keep that, even if we stay 500 until Boyu gets back, Georges gets back, keep that pace. I want to keep that pace.
It's good to keep a steady pace because when you got a certain amount of...
Oh, I just mean keep that pace through the injuries here.
Oh, okay,
once they're back,
okay.
I expect trending upward. Done with this shit.
Yeah.
No more.
I was going to get to saying,
oh yeah, go ahead.
Eventually, I'd say back when everyone's healthy, yeah, you should definitely be back to the team that you're supposed to be performing, like the team that everyone thought of that they were going to be before the season started. I want them to show me that team. I want them to show me the good team that we saw in the off season.
Damn right. Hopefully the frustration continues to build. Sabres back-to-back this weekend, and we'll have that up for you tomorrow. But any last thoughts on our beloved Buffalo Sabres?
No, just push your best on these next 2 games.
My biggest thought right now is I want Robin Lehner to stay in net. He's been playing amazing. I ignored Dallas, burned the game tape.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a problem.
Don't ruin what's hot.
I wouldn't have a problem with him starting the next 2 games back to back. I don't care. Unless he gets killed on Friday night. But Robin Lehner, I think, started to turn that wheel. And he's starting to get going again. He stole the game, you could say, last night against Washington. He played out of his mind.
Performed phenomenal. Nothing better what I could say.
Well, here we are at the show. I'm your host, Sean Joyce, Swords for the Men. Check us out on YouTube, of course. Give us likes, your comments, subscribe, follow us, please. My co-host, my good friend.
Josh, Roger and out.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good night.